Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be covering the high-low indicator. I will be explaining why this indicator is important to use, how I use it, and how you guys can use it to your advantage. So what this indicator does is it automatically plots proper highs and proper lows on the chart for you. This will allow you to identify highs and lows quickly and very efficiently, removing the guesswork when identifying highs and lows during live market conditions. And this is especially useful during day trading and scalping because typically when you're scalping, you don't have much time for analysis, right? You need to be on point with your entry, on point with your requirements, and you got to be ready to take that move when it happens. The way that I use this indicator is for one, to identify the trend. As you guys can see right here, you guys can see HH, LH, LL, and HL, right? HH stands for higher high, LH stands for lower high, LL stands for lower low, and HL stands for higher low. So typically when you see a higher high and a lower high, that's going to be the start of a trend, right? So one way to use this indicator is to identify a trend. Vice versa, if you see a LL, lower low, and a higher low, you can use that to identify an uptrend, right? So that's one way that I use it for. The second way that I use it for is when identifying reversals in price. So say, for example, you have a high right here or a lower high, and you see a double body or a double wick, right? If you guys are familiar with my variation strategy, you guys can see right here that would be a reversal pattern, right? If you see something like that, you can take a short position and then ride this down, right? Like that. That's one way to apply it on top of using it to identify the trend. Another way that you guys can use this indicator is to identify price structure for TP and stop loss. So say, for example, right here, you identify that as a reversal pattern like I just went over, right? And you wanted to enter a short position right here. Where's your TP going to be? TP is going to be down here at the next structure, right? At the previous high low. So I'd set my TP right there or somewhere right there, and then maybe go for a 1-to-1. Once I got that set up, I'd let the trade run, and there you go, full TP, right? Super simple, super easy. You can also use it to identify different TPs down here. Or even lower down here if you really, really wanted to, down here, right? So say, for example, you're going for a big move, like a 1-to-3, 1-to-4, and you got to figure out where your TP is going to be, right? There's where you can use it for. Let the trade run, kind of bounces around a bit, eventually comes down, and finally hits that point right there. So that's how I personally use it. I mean, this indicator is very versatile. You can use it for a lot of things. One way that you can use it is to identify entries for reversals, right? Like I did over here using the variation strategy. That's one way to do it. Another way is to identify price structure for support and resistance. So like say, for example, you're a support and resistance trader. If you want to identify that, you can basically see where these highs overlap, right? So say, for example, you're looking for a support and resistance entry, right? A reversal. So for example, right here, you can see how price kind of bounces around. It's retesting this resistance a couple times. It's basically like a triple top right here. You can use that to identify entry, right? If you want to turn on the momentum indicator as well, use that in conjunction. Say, for example, you got 3 tests right there. You get a sell signal somewhere like right here, or it doesn't close yet, but eventually, say, for example, you get a sell signal like right there, right? Okay, perfect. You want to take the entry right there? Great. Where's your TP going to be? Probably down here, right? Because this is the next price structure that hasn't been tested yet. Let the trade run from that point. There you go, full TP. So that's one way to use it. Another way to use it is to identify supply and demand, right? So one way to do that, how we typically use it is if you see a sell signal right here. Well, not this one specifically, but let me see if I could find a better example. Okay, maybe this one right here, the prior one. So the thing is, when people identify supply and demand, they typically identify it like too late, like it's already happened at that point, right? When people are looking for supply and demand, they're looking for price to have a momentum push away from a structure, right? So what I would typically do here is I would identify whenever I see a momentum signal, I would use this in conjunction with the high lows, and I would draw a structure at this high right here, right? So if I get momentum pushing away from the structure where this high was, my guess is that price is likely to push away from it. Another confirmation is using this as a trend. As you can see right here, price kind of confirmed that price was in somewhat of a downtrend. So using these as confluences, price is in a downtrend, price is rejecting off the structure right here. My guess is that price is likely to push away from it. And I can predict this to be a demand zone, right? Or a supply and demand zone. So if I was to take this trade here, my target would be somewhere around this area. Let the trade run, kind of bounces around a bit. Eventually it does come down, and then it gets to that point right there. So that's another way of applying this indicator to your analysis. And then you can also use it to identify price targets. So like I mentioned right here, a lot of the times people will enter a trade and not know exactly where to put their TP, right? What you can do here is whenever you take an entry, for example, the one that we were just marking up right here, you can use this indicator to identify structure that has not been tested yet, right? So we got one down there, one down there, one down there. So if you wanted multiple TPs, you can have multiple structures down here, right? TP1, TP2, TP3, etc. Just depending on your trading style, and just let the trade run. There you go. Price hits TP1, TP2, TP3, and then there's actually more structures down here as well that you could aim for. So these are just like the few ways of applying this indicator. There's specific strategies that you guys can apply using this indicator that you can find in the course. However, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I can help you master your strategy, whatever you need help with. If you have problems with your TPs, I can use this indicator to help you identify where to place your TPs or even where to place your stop losses. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.